So let's see. We have been working on Node.js. That's the focus of this week. We've created a server that uh, loads Node Express. This is a very popular library that allows us to create Node.js servers that can listen to a particular port and then can listen to for incoming get, post, deletes, and whatnot. We also configured CORS. One note on that, as we just one of you was asking, is that CORS needs to be declared early on, right after the creation of the app, and that's so that subsequent queries, subsequent HTTP queries, will have this middle tier registered that is intercepting all requests and checking to see that the headers have the the correct values, and then notice that this looks very much like the app.get, app.put, app. Right. What use says is that this is going to be valid for all incoming HTTP requests, all gets, all puts, all posts. So this request comes in first. It gets processed first by this function before it gets processed by any other function. So it gets a chance to take a look at the request and response before any of our gets and puts and posts that we declare in our own controllers. And what it's doing is that it's adding these values in the headers, so that that goes back to the response to the browser, so the browser can take a look at it and says, oh yes, I am allowed to send data to this server. One note here, you might need to when you deploy this to Heroku, the client and the server. Because the client Angular by default, if you go to Heroku, you'll notice that most Heroku apps run under HTTPS, and if requests come in from an HTTPS, then a star is not allowed. So you need to specifically list here the URL of that you are allowing the request coming from the Heroku Angular application. So the Angular application might be called xyz.com. So you would have to list here the URL, right, xyz, for your application, right, of where it's coming from, where your Angular app is being deployed. That make sense? Okay. So just verify that it works. If it's not working, try to declare here the specific URL that you want to allow to come from. Okay.
So that would be the herokuapp.com.
Yes, where your Angular would be deployed.
Okay.
You're saying, hey, this specific Angular application is trying to talk to me, and it's okay. They can talk to me. I'm going to allow that communication to come from that particular domain. For development purposes, this should be fine. Should be an issue, but when you deploy to Heroku, you might need to configure that. All right, we had created two controllers, one that dealt with incoming HTTP requests for quizzes, and the other one for asking for a question. We have some background noise. If you're not chatting, maybe you want to mute. Maybe Chandra. We also spent some time chatting about the client side, which is implemented as an Angular application. Let me run this so that I can demo for you. I'm going to run it from the command line. Let's see. This is the Node server. We can start it. Node server.js. So that's the server up and running. Excellent. And we can start the Angular application. Let's see, we can go back up one, and we can go into their Angular, web dev, Januzzi, client, Angular. And we can start it by saying ng serve. And we can hit it by saying localhost 4200. That's not running. Oh, it's still building. Okay, so let's refresh. There we are, right? And we added, wait a minute. I thought we added the link to the quizzes, didn't we? Let me see. I thought we did that, didn't we? Source app and the routing. Oh, okay, yeah, we added the link to the quizzes here, right? And we said that to see the quizzes, it's this right here, quizzes. There we go. And then when we clicked on a quiz, right, we would display the titles for the quizzes. And I believe we only added titles for the questions that belong to quiz number 2. All right, excellent. The quizzes component asked for the use the service for the quizzes service to retrieve all the quizzes, and then bind them to an array of quizzes, and then it iterated to list all the quizzes. And when you clicked on a particular quiz, the routing was that if it's quizzes and then the ID of the quiz, it moved over to the quiz component. And the quiz component used the quiz service, right, to retrieve that particular quiz, knowing the ID of that quiz, and then it retrieved all the questions that were bound to the array of questions, which were then rendered here as a list of quizzes. Of questions, and there were 2 types of questions, and we were driving the rendering of one question type of question based on the type field of the question. Right? If it was true false, we would render one component. If it was multiple choice, we would render the other component. Okay. So let's expand on this idea, okay, today.